Yoma Perek Chet Mishnah Daled. Really interesting Mishnah. Really interesting. We talked about eating and the fact that you have to have inui, a fast. So this Mishnah says the following. I'm going to read the Mishnah and then we're going to discuss that a little bit because it's a little unclear. Hatinokot, tinokot are babies. It's interesting with the language of tinokot. But normally we assume that it means children. Okay? But the language of tinokot are babies. Ein ma'animotam b'Yom Kippur. We don't afflict them on Yom Kippur, i.e. we don't make them fast. You're not obligated to withhold food from your children on Yom Kippur. Now, you have to ask the obvious question, why would the Mishnah need to tell you that you don't have to make your kids fast? A very interesting question, and I'm going to demonstrate that there was an attitude that felt that you did have to make your kids fast, even children. Now, remember we saw the pasuk, Ki kol hanefesh alert tu'uneh. Kol hanefesh, so it could be any child. Aval mechanchim otam, the Mishnah says, lifnei shana v'lifnei shnatayim. But we lechanech otam, we educate them. Lifnei shana v'lifnei shnatayim literally means before a year and before 2 years. Meaning a year or 2 years before. A year and 2 years before. Bishvil shiyu begidim b'mitzvah, so that they are accustomed to performing mitzvah. So we have a few questions. Why does he use the language tinokot? What's the hava meaning to think that you would make them fast? Okay, and then why does it say lifnei shana lifnei shnei time, 1 year or 2 years? So what does this mean? The Bartanura says mechanchim otam, we tell them lishaot. We even though they're not chayav, we teach them when they're young to fast for hours. Hayah ragil le'echol be'arba shaot. If he normally eats at 4 hours, at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we raise them we make them wait till 5 or 6 hours. Okay, and why does it call him shana or lifnei shnatayim? Shana achat kodem lepirko, a year. You wait until a year before pirko. The Bartanura says later pirko is bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. Imatinok chole v'tash kocho. If he's a weak child, you only make him fast the year before. O shtei shanim kodem pirko imatinok bari, and you make him 2 years before if the child is healthy. Now, why in the world? It's so interesting. Why in the world would you make the child fast 2 years before if he's healthy? If it's all mishum chinuch, I guess you just want to make him accustomed to mitzvot. Shiur gilin the mitzvot. I want to point out, there's a few things I want to share with you. First one is there's a whole siman in Shulchan Aruch about this issue of chinuch. Siman Orchaim Tafresh Tet Zayin and Ktanim Matay Yadchilu Lihitanot. When do children have to fast? So he brings this Katan Habari, a healthy child, Ben Teisha Shanim Shleimot or Eser Shanim Shleimot, 9 or 10 years. Chanchin L'Shaot, 9 or 10 years, you start teaching them to fast for hours. And then he quotes to the Bartanura says, the more strong the child is, then you tell them, then you add hours, okay? When you're 11 years old, whether it's a boy or a girl, it's interesting. I don't know if we follow this, 11 years old, because I remember doing it when you're a year older, okay? And then once they're older, then when they're adults, they're adults for mitzvot in general. Okay, so it's interesting. There's a whole Shulchan Aruch Hasiman about this halacha brought from this Mishnah about when a person has to begin teaching their children to fast. Why should this be any different than any other mitzvah? Really interesting question, except this is from a book from Professor Yitzchak Shelat. I think his name is Yitzchak Shelat, called Prakim B'Hishtalshelut Halacha, and he quotes really interesting Braita. Braita says the following, Braita in Yoma, Perek Dalet, Perek Hey, Halacha Bet. Tinokot samach lepirkan mechanchim oto bifnei shana bifnei shnayim. That sounds like our Mishnah. So the bishvil shiyu beginning the mitzvah. Rabbi Akiva ayam maftir bebeit midrash bishvil tinokot shiyochilum avotayim. Rabbi Akiva would stop davening in shul in the Beit Midrash. He would stop teaching on Yom Kippur. So because the parents would go home and feed their children, i.e., the parents weren't feeding their children, and Rabbi Akiva told them to go home and feed their children. Ma'aseh b'shamaya zaken shelo ratzah lachil b'no. There's a story of Shammai who didn't want to feed his child. The gazru alav v'hechilu biyado, and they made a gzer and they said, no, we're not going to hold like Shammai. So what's really interesting is, the implication is of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi asatinokot, ein ma'anim otam. It's not that they're not allowed, they don't have to make them fast. You're not allowed to make your children fast, because there clearly was an attitude of ki kol nefesh asher lo tu'uneh, any soul that doesn't fast, that Shammai and his tradition felt that meant everybody, even young children. So the Mishnah came out and said, young children were not allowed to fast, but when they come to age, then we raise them little by little until they're ready to fast on their own. There's much more to say, but this is Mishnah Yomi, so we'll stop here and dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.